Alright, let's sleep. Pull the blankets up to your chin. Fluff your pillow. Turn off your phone and let the darkness settle around you like a soft, warm cloak. Tonight, we're going to travel back in time to a world of majestic palaces and ancient traditions, of the jewel in the crown of the British Empire, India, and a woman who refused to let that crown weigh her down. We're going to meet a queen who rode into battle with her infant son strapped to her back, who fought against the most powerful empire in the world, and who died with her sword in her hand, a smile on her lips, and the name of her country on her tongue. Her name was Lakshmibai, the Rani of Jhansi. Part 1, The Girl Who Was Born to Fight. The year is 1828. The place is Varanasi, one of the oldest and most sacred cities in India, a city of temples and ghats, of the Ganges River and the smoke of funeral pyres. It is a city where life and death mingle, and where the gods walk among the people. In a house near the banks of the Ganges, a baby girl is born. She is the daughter of Manikarnika Tambe, a respected Brahmin scholar who serves as a court advisor to the Peshwa of Pune. Her mother is Bhagirathi Bai, a woman of great piety and devotion. They name her Manikarnika, the jewel of the ear. But everyone calls her Manu. Manu grows up in a world of learning and tradition. She is taught to read and write, to recite the scriptures, and to understand the complex rituals of the Hindu faith. She is also taught something unusual, to fight. Her father, Moropant, believes that a woman should be able to defend herself, and so he arranges for Manu to be trained in the martial arts. She learns to ride a horse, to wield a sword, to shoot a bow, and to fight with a spear. The training is rigorous. Manu practices for hours every day, pushing her body to its limits. She rides bareback, leaping from horse to horse, her hair streaming in the wind. She swings her sword until her arms ache, and she fires her arrows until her fingers are raw. She is fearless, and she is fiercely independent. When Manu is 12 years old, she is betrothed to the Maharaja of Jhansi, Gangadhar Rao. He is a widower, and he is much older than she is. But he is a noble and just ruler, and he is deeply impressed by her spirit. The marriage takes place in 1842, when Manu is 14 years old. She takes the name Lakshmibai, and she becomes the Queen of Jhansi. Jhansi is a small but prosperous princely state in the heart of India. It is a land of rolling hills and fertile plains, of ancient forts and bustling markets. The people are loyal to their king, and they are hopeful for the future. Lakshmibai embraces her new role with enthusiasm. She learns the language, the customs, and the politics of the court. She also continues her training in the martial arts, becoming the best swordsman in the kingdom. She and Gangadhar Rao are happy together. In 1853, she gives birth to a son, Damodar Rao. But the child dies after only a few months. The loss of their only son is a devastating blow, and the grief haunts them. Part 2, The Doctrine of Lapse. In 1853, Gangadhar Rao falls ill. He is ailing, and he knows that he is dying. He is concerned about the succession, and he adopts a child named Damodar Rao, the son of a cousin, to be his heir. He hopes that the British will recognize the adoption and allow the boy to inherit the throne. But the British East India Company has other plans. Lord Dalhousie, the Governor-General of India, has introduced a new policy called the Doctrine of Lapse. Under this policy, any princely state whose ruler dies without a natural heir could be annexed by the British. The adoption of a son is not recognized. On November 21, 1853, Gangadhar Rao dies. Lakshmibai is devastated. She is 25 years old. She is a widow, and she is the ruler of Jhansi. She petitions the British to recognize her adopted son Damodar Rao as the heir. She does not want her kingdom to be absorbed into the British Empire. But the British are adamant. They refuse to accept the adoption, and they order Lakshmibai to vacate the palace. The annexation of Jhansi is a humiliation. Lakshmibai is forced to leave her home, her palace, her kingdom. She moves to a smaller house in the city, where she lives with her son and her small retinue of servants. The people of Jhansi are outraged. They know that Lakshmibai is the rightful ruler, and they know that the British are acting unjustly. They look to their queen for leadership. Lakshmibai does not disappoint them. She is not just a queen, she is a symbol of resistance. She watches, she waits, and she prepares for the moment when the people will rise up. Part 3, The Rebellion. In May 1857, the storm finally breaks. The Indian Rebellion, the Sepoy Mutiny, erupts in Meerut, a city north of Delhi. The soldiers of the British East India Company have risen against their British officers. The rebellion spreads rapidly, and many princely states join the cause of independence. In Jhansi, the rebellion is ignited by the British themselves. They have been suspicious of Lakshmibai, and they have been stockpiling weapons in the city. When a British officer is killed in the city, the British retaliate by massacring a group of Indian prisoners. The people of Jhansi are outraged. They demand that their queen lead them in rebellion. Lakshmibai is initially reluctant. She knows the power of the British, and she knows that a rebellion could be costly. But she also knows that she cannot turn her back on her people. She makes a decision: she will fight. She sends a letter to the British commander, informing him that she is in control of the city and that she will not surrender to him. She goes to the military barracks and rallies the men. She speaks to them of honor, of duty, of the memory of their ancestors. She inspires them with her vision of a free India. She leads them to the fort and takes command. She is now the military leader of Jhansi. Part 4, The Siege of Jhansi. The British are not surprised. They have been expecting a rebellion, and they are prepared to meet it. In March 1858, a British army of several thousand men surrounds the city of Jhansi. They begin a siege, bombarding the walls with their cannons. The sound of the artillery echoes across the plains, and the smoke rises into the sky. The battle is fierce. The rebels are outnumbered, but they are determined to fight. Lakshmibai leads the defense personally. She stands on the walls, directing the soldiers, shouting encouragement. Her voice is hoarse from shouting, but she does not relent. On the night of March 31, 1858, the British forces break through the city walls. The fighting is brutal and bloody. The rebels are forced to retreat, and the British pursue them through the narrow streets. Lakshmibai is everywhere, rallying her troops, fighting with her sword, her banner flying high. The battle ends in defeat. The British take control of the city, and Lakshmibai is forced to flee. She escapes through a secret passage, disguised as a man. She rides out of the city, her adopted son Damodar Rao strapped to her back. She has lost her kingdom, but she has not lost her will. Part 5, The Final Battle. Lakshmibai travels to Gwalior, a fortress city to the south, where she joins forces with other rebel leaders. She is welcomed by the local ruler, who is sympathetic to the rebellion. She is given a palace to stay in, and she prepares for the final battle. The British are determined to capture her. They march on Gwalior, and in June 1858, the final battle takes place. Lakshmibai rides into battle wearing her finest armor. She is fearless, and she leads her forces with skill and courage. She is everywhere on the battlefield, encouraging her soldiers, fighting alongside them. On June 18, 1858, the British forces overwhelm the rebels. The fighting is fierce, and many are killed. Lakshmibai is wounded in the fighting, but she refuses to retreat. She continues to fight, her sword in her hand, her banner flying high. She is surrounded by British soldiers, and she fights to the last. She falls from her horse, and she dies on the battlefield. She is 29 years old. Part 6, The Legacy. The Rani of Jhansi is a legend. She is one of the most revered figures in Indian history, a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and resistance. She is remembered as a warrior queen who fought for her people's freedom against overwhelming odds. Her story has been told in countless songs, stories, and poems, and she continues to inspire new generations. The Rani of Jhansi is not just an Indian figure. She is a figure of international significance. She is a symbol of resistance to oppression, of courage in the face of power, of the enduring spirit of freedom. Her story is a testament to the power of the human will, and a reminder of the things that are truly worth fighting for. Part 7, The Lessons. What can we learn from the Rani of Jhansi's life? First, courage is not the absence of fear. Lakshmibai was afraid. She knew she was facing a mighty empire, and she knew she might die. But she was determined to fight. She was driven by her love for her people and her belief in the justice of her cause. Second, determination can overcome the greatest obstacles. Lakshmibai had no army, no money, and no allies. But she had a clear goal, and she was determined to achieve it. Her determination gave her the strength to fight, and her courage inspired her people to fight alongside her. Third, hope is a powerful force. The Rani of Jhansi never gave up hope. Even when everything seemed lost, she refused to give in. She believed that a better future was possible, and she fought to make it real. And finally, the truth has a way of surviving. The Rani of Jhansi has been dead for more than a century, but her story lives on. Her legend has been passed down through generations, and it continues to inspire people today. Part 8, The Dream. Now, as you drift off to sleep, think about the Rani of Jhansi. Imagine her as a young girl, learning to ride and fight. Imagine her as a queen, ruling her kingdom with wisdom and justice. Imagine her as a warrior, riding into battle with her infant son strapped to her back. Imagine her falling, wounded, fighting to the last. Imagine the courage she showed, the sacrifice she made, and the hope she gave to her people. She died, but she is not forgotten. She lives on in the stories we tell, in the history we study, in the culture we celebrate. She is a reminder that even the most unlikely people can change the world. Part 9, The Final Reflection. So tonight, as you lie in your warm bed, in your safe home, surrounded by the people you love, think about the Rani of Jhansi. Think about her courage, her determination, her sacrifice. And let her story inspire you to be brave, to be bold, and to never give up. She was a queen who refused to bow to an empire. She was a mother who fought for her child's future. She was a warrior who died with her sword in her hand. And her story, like the woman herself, will never be forgotten. Sleep well. Sleep deeply. And may your dreams be filled with the sound of hoofbeats, the sight of banners, and the spirit of a queen who refused to surrender. Good night.